Hello everybody, and welcome back to day 18 of the 100 Days of Making Comics Challenge. Today I'm going to be already starting off terrible. Today I'm going to be answering the question of, do I need to do a turnaround sheet, a character turnaround sheet? And my answer is that it depends. And it depends on a couple of factors. So one of them is if you have a character design that is either complicated, meaning that there are a lot of bits and bobs, a lot of small things that you have the potential to miss if you aren't looking at a character sheet to see, okay, did I forget her belt, or did I forget the laces, or whatever. Maybe I should first clarify for some people what a character sheet is. So, a character sheet is it's called a character turnaround sheet, and basically it's a collage a collage of your character. Most of the time there's like 2 drawings of your character from front and back, maybe 4 from front, back, and then side left and side right, depending on if the outfit or the hair or something is like drawn differently from one side to the next. But essentially it's so that you draw your character full body, and maybe off to the side any weapons that they have, or any tattoos on like a leg or an arm or something. It's just a reference sheet for you to look back on when you do your pages, to make sure that you're not accidentally drawing something wrong, or if you forget how to draw something, or after you've drawn them you look back and you're like, okay, did I miss anything? And it's really just for you to look at, to make sure you're drawing your character correctly. And also, like, if you just forget how to draw your character's face or something, or if it's like a character that's like a one-off character and they're not going to come back for like they start in the beginning of the story and then they're not going to come back until the very end, you could do a character turnaround sheet for them, so that when you like a whole long time later you have to start drawing them again, you're like, okay, now what do they look like? How did I draw them? And you don't have to scour through your own pages and stuff. So that's what a character sheet is for. Now, it's always a smart move to do more work, even if you're not sure if you're going to need it, simply because you aren't sure, so you might. But if you don't want to, and you don't think that you have to, if you're like, oh, like, my characters aren't that complicated, I don't have that many, I don't need to do a character turnaround sheet, then I don't think you have to. It's one of those things in comic preps that is optional, that if you do it, it will help, but if you don't do it and you're confident you'll be fine, then you're gonna be fine. So I did this turnaround sheet with the intentions of doing an entire proper turnaround sheet, and I did it with my main character, Tori, first. So Tori is a witch, and so she has markings on her hands, and so that was definitely something I was going to put in the turnaround sheet, was the design for her tattoo marks or whatever they are. So I did that. And I was like, okay, cool. Moving on now to her like, body, her outfit. And then I was, like, halfway done with the front facing outfit model, I don't know, you'll see, but I was drawing it and I was like, oh my god, I actually don't need to do this. Because her design is not complicated. She's wearing a muscle, she's wearing a sleeveless shirt, high-waisted pants, and boots, and that's it. So I didn't think it was necessary, so I did not put like any effort into it, and you'll see that it actually came out like kind of it's really sketchy. I didn't refine it at all. And so that's, like, I don't need to look at a reference for such a simple outfit design. For me personally, that was not necessary, and so I gave up. I already had her front-facing design anyways. I mean, she's like kind of turned 3/4, but like basically her outfit is symmetrical. What you see on the left side is what you see on the right, so like a whole full frontal isn't necessary anyways. And so if you have characters like Tori who are very simple, they're your main characters, so you're going to be drawing them all the time, so after like a couple pages you're not even going to need a character, you need to look back at your character sheet anyways. It's not necessary. So I kind of gave up on this character sheet. And just by the nature of these videos, I give up quite easily on things that I don't necessarily need to do. Simply because I'm like, ugh, I don't want to do this, I don't need to do this, and I want to move on. But also because I don't have a lot of time. I make a video a day, so I move on and I'm like, alright, done. This is it. Which, I talked about this before, but it does kind of make me feel bad when I present to you something that's not finished, or if I'm like, listen, I didn't complete this because I gave up because, for whatever reason. So I try to not feel bad. I do feel bad, sort of, but then the second I post a video, I don't think about that video anymore, so I stop feeling bad. But hopefully this helped you in deciding if you needed to do turnaround sheets, because, if you have things that are complicated in design or have very specific colors, because turnaround sheets can also be like color palette references, you can like color pick from them. You can do whatever you want with a turnaround sheet. It's really up to you to decide what you think is necessary on it, because the only person that's going to be looking at it is you. Now, that being said though, an offshoot of a turnaround sheet is an expressions sheet, and I think that is a little bit more necessary than a full-on turnaround sheet. Now, an expressions sheet is just busts. Maybe maybe you can add a torso as well if you wanted to add hand gestures, but generally it's a bust sheet of your character, and it's your character drawn at front facing 3/4 left, 3/4 right, and like side profile left and right, and they're doing a bunch of expressions like surprised, sad, angry, irritated, annoyed, happy, so that if you are trying to have them do an expression and you're like, I can't figure out how this is supposed to look at a 3/4 angle, then you can go to your expression sheet and be like, oh, okay, so the nose is supposed to be like this, and like this, and like this, and the cheeks go like this. So that, I think, can be super necessary, but I don't think I'm going to be doing that. But I am going to make one. Okay, let me rephrase. I'm not going to I'm not going to prep an expression sheet before I do the pages, but I am going to make an expression sheet as I make the pages, where when I draw an expression and I'm like, okay, that's good, I like this, that's how they do this expression, then I'll copy and paste it onto the expression sheet so that if I have to make that expression again, I can look back and be like, how did I make her eyebrows scrunch when she's irritated? Okay, cool. And then if I draw it and I'm like, alright, so I did an irritated expression at a 3/4, but I'm drawing an irritated expression at a side profile, then I'll copy and paste that one and put it right next to the 3/4 one, so it's the same emotion but at different angles, and it just makes your character expressions consistent. And I think, at least for me personally, who struggles with keeping character faces consistent from one drawing to the next, that is more important in my mind than full body shots of the outfit from the side and behind. So that now that is all that I have for you today. I hope, once again, that it was helpful in deciding if you were to do character turnaround sheets. And if it's not, then sorry? I don't know. Okay, thank you for watching. Goodbye.